Hello, folks. So, in this video, I wanted to talk about distraction, focus, and attention. I mean, focus, attention, related stuff, and distraction, right? Like fluff, clutter, synonyms. So, I mean, in today's world, I think everything, almost everything, everyone and everything is like distracted. This includes not just humans. This includes even say animals and probably any living organisms is any living organism is probably distracted. In this is just a guess. I'm going to read more on the research and study on this. This is just a thought that just came up. Like this is an obvious thing. Everyone is like distracted. Is what like I feel almost always. What do I mean? Like I feel like everyone is almost multitasking or getting distracted. One of these. When I say distracted, like it's okay. At least for a moment, you're distracted. Okay, but when you multitask, I've read about this also. I'm going to research and read about this that humans cannot multitask. Right? Our brains are not wired like that. For example, when I overthink, my therapist says. Try to focus on what you're doing, and you'll only be able to focus on one of the things, either on your overthinking stuff, your vicious cycle in my head, or whatever I'm trying to get done, like whatever I'm trying to do or get something done, whatever it is, like at the current moment in real life I'm trying to do something, get something done, focus on that or on my thought process, right, and be stuck in my head. Apparently I can only do one of those, though if I try doing both of them, it's going to be really hard for my brain to keep switching, and it'll struggle, and at some point it'll only focus on one of them, or it'll just lose energy, a lot of energy, I guess, right? I think even computers apparently work like that. Like I still have to read more. It's been long since I read it, but basically this is about context switching and threads and whatnot and CPU cores, in case you know computers. So yeah, I mean, you keep trying to do multitasking, like not just two tasks, but multiple tasks. For example, even now I was eating and someone was saying, can you just, I was on a phone call and I started eating when I was on the phone call. And then I said, okay, I'm going to go eat. I'll talk to you later, right? And then they were like, why can't you just eat and talk? I was like, why should I? The thing is, a lot of people either end up or are kind of forced, or that's what they think, to like multitask. For example, check something on their phone while they're eating. I have done this a lot of times. I have seen everyone do this almost. And like say people are seeing some series or movie on their phone, watching it, or watching some cricket match when they are actually eating on their phone, or watching something on the TV. I've done this a lot in my house. I still do sometimes, or a lot of times when I'm in my house. I'm currently away from my house, but I actually see TV when I'm eating. That's not a great thing, right? I feel like I should be mindful of what I'm eating. I should know what I'm eating. A lot of times I actually ended up eating, say, red chilies or green chilies by just looking at the TV screen and eating, or ended up eating something and not chewing it properly, and almost it got stuck on my throat. So it got stuck in my throat in such a way that I wasn't choking exactly, but I was feeling a lot of discomfort in my throat, and I had to um, drink a lot of water and get it down my throat or spit it out somehow, right? Or else I would be choking. And it's very crazy if it's actually, say, some pointy thing that just pokes my esophagus and just gets stuck there, then it's very problematic, right? Just water and stuff will not do. So, yeah, I mean, it's important to mindfully eat stuff for multiple reasons. And I think mindfulness is pretty important. For example, one of my friends and many of the people that I know, people run, walk with earphones on, right? Or people do their gym workout exercise with earphones on. For example, even I listen to music in the background without earphones, but in the background on speakers, actually. I mean, it's very, very, I don't know. I mean, I need some white noise because when it's very, very silent in the gym, it's very awkward for me. Maybe I should deal with it. Anyways, but that's me being distracted, right? I'm always listening to some song and they are actually putting on their earphones and walking around or doing some exercise, and they just can't be away from their music. In my case, only in gym, but many people do this even while working and whatnot, while driving, right? I'm not sure. Like, of course, these people are probably listening to songs and also thinking stuff. Maybe not focusing on the song. Maybe just it's running in the background and they are with their own thoughts. Right? Happens a lot with me. So maybe I could say that even if I'm not, say, listening to some song, I might be distracted with my own thoughts, even if I'm just walking around. But I'm okay with that in the sense that I don't want anything else to be, taking up my attention and grabbing my attention and stealing my attention. I would rather just be with my own thoughts. And I don't know, sometimes I wonder if people are like not okay with being with their own thoughts. They would rather keep listening to some song, or they would rather keep scrolling on some social media, say Instagram or YouTube Reels, Instagram Reels or Instagram timelines, or status updates or WhatsApp status updates or anything, right? Or Twitter feeds, Twitter timeline. Twitter has some spaces concept, and there is like all kinds of social media, right? And then there's Facebook, of course, the most popular one, Meta, I mean. So yeah, so I think people would rather be on social media and whatnot. For example, even I end up checking out my phone a lot, though I think I would wanna not. And whenever I do check out my phone, I mean, my phone notifications are always like captured and filtered out and kept somewhere separately so that I can get back to them later. And it's not on my face, except some of them which is like work related and whatnot. So I do end up, say, opening up social media apps, say WhatsApp or dating apps and whatnot, and chatting with people. But that's like, even that is very exhausting, and my attention and focus gets divided and distracted on so many apps. There's a lot of information being processed by my head. Say dating apps, every time I'm actually swiping right, especially looking at the, you know, profile and swiping right. I'm not even like scrolling this profile. I'm just looking at the first image and then just swiping right, so that in case it matches, then I'll look at the profile and be like, okay. So I would rather be like, first say yes, assuming some basic filters like a verified profile and whatnot, and then I just keep swiping right. But that's a lot of information that I'm processing in my head. I'm like, sometimes I just close my eyes and try not to look at the phone screen when I'm swiping right, because I don't want any clutter to go in my head, unnecessary information. I talk to people, people have gossip, unnecessary information. I'm like, I don't want to talk about this. I'm not interested, right? Basically, my head is always processing some information, right? Like, even when I'm sitting and eating, there's a TV in my cafeteria, in my office cafeteria. Previously, I used to actually just sit way away from the TV and away from all the screens, and sit in a direction in such a way that I can't see the screen, and also a bit away from the people so that I'm not focusing on any person or whatever. It's very tricky, but you will still hear noises, or I should basically just be in a very isolated environment to just eat so that I can focus on the food. I can see the food, the color of the food, the texture of the food, and how it looks and whatnot. And then finally put it in my mouth, and then close my eyes and focus on how it tastes, the texture and whatnot, right? It's not easy, but at least I try. I chew and I focus on the chewing. But of course, when I close my eyes, distraction is not just outside, right? Distraction is also inside me, of course, in my thoughts, right? So I'm distracted by my thoughts. Of course, I'm not focusing on eating, let's say. I'm just thinking about something, right? As of now, I'm okay with it, but then I think going forward, I would like to actually be in a state in such a way that I can actually focus and do one thing at a time. Like even now, I'm looking at the phone and taking a video. I got distracted so many times. The thing about distraction, I think it's fine to get distracted, but then it's important to come back. And also, like, it's better if you have less distractions. For example, there are so many things surrounding me, and my eyes are open, and I have eyesight, which is a fortunate thing, but also in some ways unfortunate in the sense that it can be distracting. Every sense I have can be distracting. Touch, listening, hearing, basically seeing, right? So all of it, taste, anything can be distracting. Like, if I'm eating and listening to someone, what should I focus on? Should I focus on eating, or should I focus on listening? A lot of times I've actually eaten in front of people while I'm listening to them, but then that's a very, very bad habit. It's very disrespectful for the other person also, because they're trying to talk something and then I'm eating, right? It'll The perception will be like I'm actually focusing on eating. It's similar to us. It's as good as like me having a laptop open and looking at the laptop screen when someone is talking to me, or looking at a phone screen when someone is talking to me, but then I'm actually trying to listen to them and respect them, but then that won't be evident. The perception will be like this person is not listening, probably, or this person is like not so serious, right? A lot of times I've done this actually. I feel ashamed, embarrassed, and weird. So I've done this a lot. The thing is, yeah, I mean, I wanted to eat at the time, but then almost no time to eat, or I just need to squeeze in and eat. But then if I keep talking and keep listening to people, I might end up not eating at all, whatever the food that I bought, right? Some snack or whatever, right? And yeah, I mean, it's an excuse, but yeah, I mean, I need to see how I actually squeeze in my eating time, and I like to eat with some focus and mindfulness and whatnot. But then when people are actually in a very busy life, fortunately, I'm leaving my job because it's very, very tricky to be in such a job which actually requires me to always be thinking about my job, right? So my job has become like a distraction from my life, right? Everyone's trying to get my attention, right? Get everyone's like everyone and everything is trying to get everyone's attention. Like, people are trying to get attention, like women, men, anyone, right? Anyone is trying to get attention from, say, their probable romantic partners, their parents, or their siblings, their friends, right? Everyone is trying to get attention, I guess. Almost everyone, at least. Very few people don't want attention, or say that they don't want attention. Maybe they do. For example, even I like attention. I mean, that's probably not a great thing, but I like attention, right? Like, I like it when someone checks out my YouTube channel, for example, and then says something like, "Hey, that's a great thing. Like, you have done so many videos or whatever, right?" And appreciates me, or like, likes my content, or like, as in likes my content, as in like they say, instead of like clicking likes. That's I don't look at that. Fortunately, I'm not so crazy about that and all. I'm not crazy at all about that, or look at that stats. But then I do check out YouTube Studio saying this is the stats, and I'm like surprised that when I get some likes or comments or whatever views, I'm like, oh, someone's watching my YouTube videos. I mean, I'm pretty much surprised that people are watching my videos, anyways. So yeah, I mean, I do like attention, but then yeah, I mean, depending on that attention, having your happiness based on that attention is not a great idea. I mean, social media is all about that, right? Hey, I got so many likes, I got so many comments, so many people saw this, my crush saw this, my crush didn't see this, I'm sad. Basically, you basically give the handle of happiness to someone else, right? So, I mean, for me, happiness is sharing information, taking a YouTube video and putting it on YouTube or somewhere, like putting it out there publicly for anyone to see. But then I stop there actually. As much as possible, I stop there. I don't usually care about, do I get any attention or not. But then I do actually get some bad attention or bad comments saying that this is shit, this is bad. Like, not literally, they didn't say that, but then basically they say, criticize stuff, they criticize and whatnot, and then I'm like, I just feel bad. Of course, again, I'm giving actually importance to people's words, and I'm getting distracted by people's comments, right? Ideally, I should just focus on what I like doing, like say making videos or whatever. Like, I think it's very important for people to focus on like the things that are important to them, and then understand what is important to them, because everything in this world, almost everything and everyone in this world is trying to get your attention, right? people are fighting for your attention. Your employers, your company is fighting for your attention. Your company wants you to work almost all the time and put in all your best at work, right? Most companies want that. They are capitalists, and they want you to work so much that they are actually very profitable, right? Or something or the other. They just want you to work a lot, right? They have a mission they're crazy about. Or say your partner wants your attention, or your kids, you decided to have kids. Of course you need to give your kids some attention, because or else they're going to get that attention in some way or the other. Either they get the attention in such a way that they're actually in a good behavior, but then if you don't give them the attention, then not giving them the attention leads them to bad behavior, and then they get the attention. So one way or the other they're going to get their attention. So it's better to actually understand, when you have kids, or when you have kids yourself, or when you have kids in the family, you know and if you want the kid to grow up sane and healthy and happy, it's important to give them some attention, and some attention to your relationships, whatever it requires, assuming that it doesn't actually cause you to lose yourself in the process. But then of course there are a lot of things. There's like numerous stuff. There are so many things. There are numerous things that don't require your attention, like social media, a lot of fluff and clutter and whatnot, and news, right? The office cafeteria TV screen, the news is always on. There's a lot of garbage, and it's repetitive also, and in the what do you say, and the speaker is also off. Since it's an office cafeteria, they don't want too much noise there, so apart from people talking. So it's just like, you're just looking at the same thing again and again. It's just waste. Usually they don't put different stuff over there, and then someone's talking which is probably different every minute, but then you can't hear it because the speaker's off. So it's literally just distraction, and a lot of times I've just ended up wasting my time over there. A lot of times I've seen screens, or I've seen people. I like to observe people, so it's more like an intentional distraction, I could say. I don't know. I like observing people. I always distract myself. Every time I hear something, I just turn towards that side. So if I'm eating, I think it's best to actually just sit and eat and focus on eating. It's a good idea. Also keeps your mind a bit calm, and I think it's a great idea to be mindful. Same for working and whatnot. And music, I don't know, like a lot of people listen to music or see TVs and screens when they're actually eating. They multitask a lot. People are talking and typing. People are talking over the phone and working. Like, I've done that a lot. I'm not saying I'm perfect. Of course, I've done a lot of mistakes. I still do a lot of mistakes. Um, so even today, for example, when I was eating, I was either looking at the people around me, or I was closing my eyes and ensuring that I don't see the TV screen in front of me in the office cafeteria. But then I was still actually caught up with my own thoughts while I was chewing my chicken, grilled chicken. So yeah, I mean, I was, as much as possible, I was able to chew my chicken well and taste it and whatnot. Mostly chew it. I don't know if I tasted it enough. Mostly I tasted it, yes. But then I was probably distracted by my own thoughts, and as much as possible, I tried to go back to focusing on chewing, right? I tried to just focus on eating, and open my eyes again and see the chicken piece, and then again eat it, and then start chewing and close my eyes, right? So yeah, I mean, people, things. For example, when I say people, I told you kids, friends, family, and whatnot. Even things, right? For example, every time people manufacture or create something, say physical something, or say a chair or a furniture, anything, or they create a software, they want to create something that's different, that's eye catching, that's attention seeking, right? People want to create stuff that is nice to see, that is nice to focus on or give attention to, right? So, and the world, like I said, is trying to get your attention. Like Netflix is probably trying to get your attention to actually see a lot of Netflix or other services like Amazon Prime and whatnot, right? And Disney Hotstar or whatever, right? And there are, of course, you have advertisements, right? So you have marketing campaigns and advertisements and ads. The whole industry is dependent on attention, right? And interest. They know what you give attention to, and then they actually understand what you're into. and then they just give you your advertisement, right? They ensure that you see it, and they get paid. The platform gets paid for showing you the advertisement, right? I mean, the whole, it's actually attention economy, I think it's called, and everyone's trying to get your attention. Even softwares are trying to ensure that they build software in such a way that it's looking nice and working nice, and it's attention seeking and hooking you into the product or the software, so that you spend more time using it and you love using it and you get addicted using it so much that you don't want to use any other alternative, right? Whenever people build something new, everyone has some idea of like, hey, this is an alternative for that. How is this different from that, right? If it's all the same, people are like, well, I don't want to use this. This is not so much different, right? So people try to get your attention. They do something, right? So if someone asks me, and even in terms of people, someone asks me what is interesting about you, or like simply someone asks me, or if I think about what's interesting about me, I would say I have a YouTube channel that I post on, and I post a lot of videos, so many videos, though no one sees it. And I'll be like, yeah, I mean, I'm happy that I actually did that, and I find that interesting about myself, right? And I find different things interesting about myself. Like, I transformed my body a bit, that a lot of people have done, yes, but I feel great that I've done it myself too, like other people. So, I mean, I can tell some interesting stuff about me. I would say mostly it's my YouTube videos and some of my blog posts and stuff I share on, on the internet. And I feel like some things are like not the usual stuff that people share online. But then, of course, there are, of course, things like that online, just probably in even a nicer way, in a nicer way than what I've put out, and in a more clearer way and more nice way and all that. But then it's okay. I mean, I'm just happy that I can actually think a bit differently, unlike many other people, or that's what I like to think, right? I boast internally that, like, hey, I did this, I feel great. So the whole thing about for me is I try to get my own attention, and I'm like, I'm happy that I am the way I am. The thing is, out there, everyone's trying to get everyone's attention. Say for money, let's say you are in a company, you want to get attention from people so that you can actually show that you are actually valuable, right? For example, when I put out YouTube videos, one of the things for me is I can actually say that I actually am a hard worker. I've put out so many videos. It shows that I have a lot of consistency and hard work in me. So it's kind of a way for me to sell myself or pitch myself and say, I'm a hard worker. Same for my gym, right? Every day I go to gym, I have a proof for that. For a lot of things, I have proof, and that's my way of saying I'm a hard worker, right? And that actually helps me show to anyone, say an employer or some person or whoever, right, that I can actually work hard. I can be consistent. I can put in the efforts, right? And I have proof for that, right? So I'm trying to get attention, basically. I'm trying to get someone's eyes. I'm trying to catch someone's attention and focus, right? So, and people, things, furniture, everything, people are trying to make something that is actually eye catching, attention seeking. It's just, people say, right? Make something that turns heads. Basically, when you say turns heads, it's basically turning heads, literally turning heads, basically getting someone's attention, right? So, yeah, I mean, everyone's trying to get your attention. It's like everyone and everything is trying to get your attention. There are so many things around me, like furniture, TV screens, people, like, everything's lights, right? Everything is attention seeking, right? So, I mean, ideally, you should be aware that there are a lot of things in the world that is attention seeking, and it's important that you try to focus on yourself and your inner self and focus on what is important to you, and try not to distract yourself, and try not to take in too much information into yourself. I'm sure the brain is very smart. I believe the brain actually ignores a lot of distractions and a lot of signals. Like, though I know that there are many chairs around you, whatever, right? It'll just ignore a lot of information. It'll take in only the information that is important, right? So it knows what to focus on. Like, I'm not actively trying to focus on what I'm talking. I'm just saying whatever comes to my mind. or else this would be a very structured video, and I'm walking because I just ate, so I'm just walking around. But I'm sure the brain is very, very smart. We have evolved for so many years, right? Thousands of years, or maybe more. I don't know. I have to go read. But I'm sure we are very, very smart when it comes to all of that. So the brain can actually know exactly what to focus on and then chuck the others, right? So it knows, it just somehow knows, or it just considers something as clutter and gets rid of it. Well, you need to now consciously think what is clutter and what you need to focus on, and then see if you're actually focusing on it, and then get rid of the actual clutter. What you do subconsciously, and what you do on autopilot, can you do that consciously? And on actual pilot mode and not autopilot mode. Be on the pilot seat, right? So, yeah, I mean, being on autopilot helps with a lot of things, like, habits and whatnot, so that you don't have to think about something to do something. Sometimes thinking hinders the doing, and so when you just go ahead and just do it, you get the thing done, right? So it's very useful, but then you're not mindfully doing it, you're doing it subconsciously on autopilot. So not a great thing exactly. It's important to do things mindfully. It helps, I believe mindfulness helps. I'm going to read more about it, more about mindfulness, brain signals, alpha waves, beta waves, gamma waves, whatever, and anything related to brains. I'm just going to read about it and understand why mindfulness, why yoga, why meditation, all of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I was just feeling like, hey, why are everyone just so busy looking at their phones, listening to music all the time and whatnot, or always looking at something, right? And they can't be with their own thoughts. They just can't be. They have to keep interacting with social media, with people. They have to keep doing something. They just can't simply sit idle. Funnily, my therapist used to tell me, you can't sit idle. So maybe I'll go read about that also. But at least I can just be without my phone, not do anything, right? Just drink water or something maybe, and then just simply sit and try to just focus on some one particular thing. Maybe meditate. That's what I heard. That's how you do meditation. Basically, focus on one thing and try to focus on that thing for like 5 minutes, and then for more time and whatnot. So I guess it's hard to do it for a long time. I mean, saints did it for a long, long time, long ago. I think, of course, they are saints for a reason. Uh, and I don't know if I can do it for many years and whatnot. I'm gonna try for 1 minute and whatnot. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting experiment to be actually be with my own thoughts and not be distracted by my own thoughts and focus on one particular thing and try to just focus on that. And whenever I get distracted, pull myself back in and focus on that one thing and do the same thing again and again. I mean, as much as possible, not get distracted, but just keep focusing on that one thing. And in case I get distracted, come back and focus on that one thing and keep doing the focusing for more time. Let's see what that leads to. And of course, I need to sleep a lot to be actually healthy and for my brain to work properly, and for my brain to be well rested. A lot of times I actually realize that I don't know, maybe I'm not sleeping well enough because I'm thinking too much even in my sleep probably, and I'm also dreaming a lot. So crazy stuff. Anyways, let's see. So yeah, that's all I had for this video, talking about attention, focus, distraction, and how it's important for you to actually focus on things and actively and consciously focus on things and not be subconsciously distracted. And I would recommend spending time with your own thoughts at times and spending some time doing some meditation or whatever. Give it a try. Let's see how it goes. I don't know. I'm going to try it out. But you don't have to be always caught up with something or the other. Yeah. Sometimes you can just do one thing at a time instead of multitasking. Especially when it's like more than two tasks. That's just crazy. Anyway, so that's all I had for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.